Right here you can see that's the foot. That's basically going to keep it from going too low. Hopefully they don't fall out because we've had that issue too. So let's go check on the seeded Timothy that we put out here and see how it's growing. You can definitely see areas where it's kind of growing. Honestly, considering that I seeded it all by hand, I think it's doing pretty decent. This stuff looks pretty thick through here, honestly. Some of this stuff I think is weeds, like right there. I think this is the Timothy. Yeah, I don't really have high hopes for this field. Why didn't you guys speak up? Of course, we need to check the baby fir trees. I know, you were waiting to catch me when I said pine, weren't you? All right, we have not watered these one bit. I did not water them when I planted them. They've just been here. So this one's doing pretty good. It's got a little bit of shock, which is understandable. They were sitting in my barn for a couple weeks, just in plastic. This one's actually looking really decent. And then this one. So the other ones are out there in the middle somewhere, and then on the edge, and then way back there. The bigger concern isn't if they're too wet. The bigger concern is if they're too dry. And right now we can tell that everything is still very moist. Even just looking at the soil right here, you can see how moist it is. I can squish it with my finger. Yeah, it's good and moist. This field right here is one of our newer fields. It's always struggled with grass seed, especially considering that most of the time in the springtime it's very wet, so it's hard to get fertilizer and especially manure down. We have a total of 87 acres. Now on this far end of our property, this area is approximately 10 acres. This is about a 10-acre parcel back here. And as you can see, it is very, very overgrown. It's kind of a fine line. The deer like to live back here, and this is where we shoot all of our large bucks. They love to hide in it. So if we chop it all down, then we lose the hunting value. But on the same token, it's overgrowing severely. Not only does this take us all the way around to the back where our sand pit lies, but it also takes us all the way around the entire back perimeter of this chunk. I'm not sure how we plan to get this area under control. If you have any suggestions, definitely let me know. Now the area here to the left, that is our 30-acre parcel of woods. That's where we do more hunting. We've got more trails back there. We harvest wood from back there. And of course, we do our maple syrup back there. If you look close, you can even see some of the maple tubing lines that are still back there. And of course, our giant maple sap collection tank. It is just gorgeous back here. When there's no bugs. It's beautiful when there's no bugs. And today is just the perfect day to go out brush hogging and get ready for a killer hay season. All right, real quick, let's go check our main 10-acre field. This is the one that we are selling to our horse customers for sure. Now this field right here was one of our very first planted fields. It was planted approximately 5 years ago, and every year we had tried to overseed it. Except for the last couple years, we had a bit of a struggle. Consequently, a lot of it has died off. But luckily, we've had a lot of rain, and it's caused a lot of the grass to shoot up. It's causing a lot more stems than I would like. This type of grass is more commonly seen about the first to second week of June, not the last week of May. So it's a little strange. And there's a ton of clover cropping up everywhere. And right here, that is where a giant pile of that wood chip manure fell that everyone was convinced would kill my grass. Actually, it's causing it to turn vibrantly green and very thick, as you can see right here. Now, obviously, it felt like an inch thick right here. And look at that. That's a lot. And so it is kind of smothering some of it out, but it's so lush right there. And I think if I could get that across my entire field, oh, it'd be a game changer for sure. All right, today is the day we are first cutting hay. All right, so we've got this all hooked up here. We're gonna get our PTO link put on. So I've got the blue label on my PTO link. This is for the higher horsepower tractors. If you're interested in taking a look at this, there is a link in the video description, and you can save 5% using the code below. So this is our secondary locking pin. We're gonna go ahead and take this off, like so. Now all we do is we're just gonna slide this right on. There we go. See? Locked into place. Now our secondary, this is gonna attach on all of our implements. It is easy to remove, it's easy to put on. What we're gonna do is line it up like so. The PTO link is nice because if you have sleeves that tend to be having issues, and this is a brand new sleeve, it's already giving me issues. The PTO link provides a really easy way to keep things connected without having to monkey with them. Now I gotta monkey with this for a while. If I just had this PTO link sitting on here, I could have just walked right up to the tractor and clipped it in. Easy, no problem. Okay, there we go. There. All right, and then lastly, we put this in just to make sure everything stays in place. All right, we made it back to our first field. So this is approximately 5 acres. It's not very large. You might think that this field and this field are one of the same, but they're actually 2 different fields. This one we started with, this was one of our first fields, and this was an add-on that we just started maybe 3 years ago. This one's always had a hard time growing anything except for bushes and some strange grasses. So that's why we cut them separately, because this one has a lot more issues than this one. I mean, this one's pretty much mostly orchard grass. There's a little bit of clover scattered out there, some dandelions, and that's pretty much it. I haven't seen too much for weeds out there. Anyway, so we are gonna hook up our camera system here. Okay, and again, do not leave these connected when the tractor's off because they will stay on. Hey, look at that. That looks great. That looks really, really good. And I'm gonna fully admit that the hay cutter always makes me nervous. Yeah, high-powered PTO implements make me nervous because we've had so many issues. All right, now we're gonna lower it down. We've got our floats. Okay, that's all the way forward. You can see it right there. All right, so let's roll. All right, so down in here, this is our adjustment right back here. You can see I've got 1 notch left, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and bump it up 1 more. And that will also give me a little extra second cut too. We got 2. So now, right here you can see that's the foot. That's basically going to keep it from going too low. Hopefully they don't fall out because we've had that issue too. And in other news, the cat decided to come for a ride with me today. He's not sure if he's excited about this, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna be honest with you. My camera looks a little dicey down there, like it's gonna fall to its death. Actually, the magnet is super strong, so the magnet will hold, but I'm not sure about the camera itself, so we'll see how that footage turns out. So the sun is going down. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to get this done. It's 6 o'clock right now. I think I'll be lucky to get this field done by 9 o'clock, but I still have one more field to do. If you look close, you can see a tiny baby fir tree hiding in the grass. I'm happy to say that only one tree suffered the casualty of being run over by the lawnmower, and I don't think it was this one, and I don't think it was today. And don't you worry, Eric joined in on the fun on cutting grass, except his was a little more tedious and possibly a lot more monotonous, and, well, cutting this grass didn't earn a profit, but he really enjoys cutting the grass despite the countless hours it requires with all of the rain that we've gotten. So here's a little bit of Eric mowing the grass. I'm not sure if any of you watch the grass mowing channel like Eric does, but he really enjoys watching grass get mowed. So if you enjoy watching grass get mowed, put it in the comments down below. And here's a little bit just to get you started. Eric really doesn't mind mowing the grass. He might even enjoy it. He likes watching all of the baby fir trees grow up and taking care of them. But what he's not such a big fan of is weed whacking. It really takes a toll on his hands because the vibration, that's something that he does all day at work too. It's tough on him. Now it's been almost a month and a half, so let's check in on our baby fir trees and see exactly how they are doing. First, we're going to look at our potted Canaan firs. These things were so tiny and just little tiny sticks when we planted them. But look at them now, they're all bushing out. If you want to know what they used to look like before they started sprouting, well, here you go. Here's what they used to look like. And this one's actually still slightly sprouted. Man, look at them. Just look at all of the growth. These things are going to be ginormous by the time fall comes. Over here we have the potted Fraser firs. These looked beautiful to start with, and they're looking even more gorgeous now. And here we have our poor decrepit bare root trees, which are struggling to sprout, but they are just starting. These are our Canaan firs. You can see there's still a lot of shock on many of them, but they're still hanging in there. A few of them have just exploded, and that's so nice to see. You can even see the little bit of root shock on the side there. It's got a few dead branches, but it seemed to be doing pretty good. And then we have others like this one. This one, I even think it's mostly dead, but it's starting to pop buds. So I think it'll be okay.
I'm not for sure what kind of head this is. This was at my dad's house, and when he passed away, I got the weed whacker. But this thing works great around trees, so you don't have to worry about hurting the trees at all. So you can go really fast.
So this part's dull right here, and the part that cuts is shield on the inside.
So we're thinking about trying some mulch around the trees, though. We'll see how that goes. We'll show you a little trick we heard about here coming up real quick.
Oh, really quick, I have to show you guys something else that's super exciting that I was not expecting this year, but I was really hoping. Uh-oh. There's a caterpillar on it. Look, I'm getting little tiny peaches. I'm getting little peaches growing on my peach trees. And baby nectarines, and plums, and cherries, and pears. Every single tree is growing fruit, except for this poor little soul. This one was always kind of a strange tree. This is how we bought it from the nursery. It looks like something came through and whacked most of the branches off. Probably a deer, or it could have been the tractor. But anyway, this particular one did not survive through our frost. Well, because of the strange weather we had this year, where it went from 87 degrees all the way down to 50 degrees and then back up a week later, well, I lost all of the trees that were in my barn that I still hadn't planted, and the one lonely peach tree over there. I don't know why, but they just didn't like the change in the weather. And for some reason, my 3 apple trees over there are not producing any apples either. It's possible they just don't like the soil over there.